Hi, thanks for joining me. So today we're going to go ahead and do a video response to Kid Shoryuken. He did a video recently called The Most I've Ever Paid for a Video Game. And I thought this might be a good opportunity for us to just go ahead and talk about some of the games that I've spent more money on than I typically would because they're collectible. And I also want to do a little bit of a video response to another video that he did, but I think I'm going to do that in a separate video. So also, just apologies for the quality on this. I'm recording this on my tablet. I'm having computer troubles again, so this is going to be a little bit of shaky cam. But to start off with here, this is actually a game that I purchased new. And I wanted to talk about the discrepancy that I think exists, a bit of a double standard between buying games new and buying them used, and getting retro games. This is a game that I got on PlayAsia, so it was an import. I was getting into shoot 'em ups a little bit more, and I noticed this game was coming out. I was pretty excited to check it out because I hadn't really played any cave shoot 'em ups before. Now, if you're gonna play cave shmups, they in this gen came out on the Xbox 360. Except for this particular game, it was ported by Mages to the PlayStation 3, and I know that the PlayStation 3 is backwards, not backwards, but region free. And I also believe that I may not have even had a 360 at the time. So I definitely wanted to get this and check it out. Now, it was about maybe $70 US dollars on the site at the time. And I also paid for the good shipping, so maybe it was about $20 in shipping. So I probably spent about $90 on this game. And I bet that a lot of you have also had that experience of spending more than $60 on a new game, especially if it's like a special edition or something that you really wanted. Maybe it was sort of value added, but you went ahead and probably maybe shelled out 80 or 90 or $100 or even more on a new game. And I think that's interesting to think about. If you think about what the limit might be on what you'd be willing to spend on a used game, because I think that that tends to vary. At least it did for me. And I think that that comes from the fact that, games lose value over time. And I think that we tend to expect a used game, honestly, to cost somewhere between like $10 and maybe $30. Not all that much in the grand scheme of things, maybe even less. But there are a handful of games that, they get collectible. And they command higher prices. Now, for me, I just think over $100 for a game new or used is a little pricey. But I've gotten a handful of collectible games because of my complete collections. I've wanted to get a handful of complete collections. I have 3 right now, and I'm really proud of them. The first one that I got is the Atari 7800. To finish that off, I needed to get Tank Command. Now, if I remember correctly, I spent about $100 on this cart loose. And I only collected loose carts for the 7800. I didn't collect any boxed games. I even had some boxed games, and I actually got rid of the boxes because I was annoyed by having to store them. But this is not a particularly good game. I have played it, but I really just got it for my collection. And, if I wanted it, I had to shell out the money, and I didn't really mind. I was proud to have a complete collection, and I was pretty happy to have gotten this, and I willingly put $100 down on that as a used Atari cart. Now, the next game to complete a collection, so to speak, that I spent the most on is this one here, Sonic Adventure. Now, I have a complete North American NTSC Dreamcast collection. Again, something I'm very proud of. And I would say that if you want to have a complete North American collection, you don't need to have this game. This was a personal goal of mine. Once I was getting close to having the complete set, I just kind of wanted this. Now, what I've heard, and I'm not 100% sure, I know there have been rumors with other games that they were Blockbuster exclusive, and they weren't, but this is the story that I've heard, and as far as I know, it's true. That when the Dreamcast was coming out, Blockbuster got some early systems and early games, and they had Sonic Adventure early. It was called Sonic Adventure Limited Edition, and it says so right on the cover. And it says it on the disc, too, so it has this exact same logo. It says Sonic Adventure Limited Edition right on the disc. So don't be fooled. Sometimes people say, oh, it's the Sonic Adventure Limited Edition on eBay and stuff, but it has to say it on the cover and the disc. And as far as I know, there's nothing special about this other than it was an early copy that Blockbuster had. Now, so like I said, it's more of a collector thing than it is something I think is necessary for a complete set. But I spent about $125, I believe, on this. There was an eBay seller that at the time had a handful of these at least. They were selling multiple copies of it, and they were selling for like 100. I think it was like 120, $125 each. And I went ahead and picked it up. And I haven't regretted it. Honestly, this is one of the games I'm the most proud of having in my Dreamcast collection, among a couple other things. But yeah, so there's that 125 on Sonic Adventure, the limited edition. Um, Next is my PCFX collection, and this was another collection that thankfully, like most of the games, are like $10 to $30 each. Some more in the $40 to $50 range, but there are a handful of games that are quite expensive. And when I was getting the set, I picked up this here, Chojin Heiki Zeroigar, and this is a shoot 'em up. Again, sorry for the shakiness, but it's it's the only shoot 'em up on the system. Now, it's not a really traditional shoot 'em up. It's a little bit unique, but it's pretty cool. And this incidentally had a fan translation released for it just about maybe a year ago, a little bit over, which is really good. I didn't really work on it. I actually I did work on the title screen a little bit, but they ended up going with a different title screen than the one I made for them. So, I was involved just in terms of just chatting with the people a little bit. But they did a really great job on the fan translation for this, and it's a really interesting game. I went ahead and shelled out about $150 for this at the time. It's complete with the spine card and everything, and I was willing to do that for my collection. It's also a fairly interesting game, so I'm really happy to have that to complete the PCFX collection. Another one that was pricey in order to do that is this game here, and it is called Tokimeki Card Paradise. Now, this is a game that will certainly do nothing to combat the PCFX's kind of notorious reputation, because it's essentially, I almost want to call it like, it's sort of like a cheap cash grab to a certain extent. It's sort of like this strip poker game. There's a couple other games in it that are card games. I almost even think that there might be some that aren't card games, like maybe John Ken or something. But I think that's basically four mini games that you can play, and and then there's strip. You're playing like strip versions of the game, so the characters will disrobe as they lose. It's compatible with the PCFX mouse, as you can see, and I spent $150 on this. I have a feeling that it just probably didn't have a big print run. There probably aren't a lot of copies of this. It probably didn't sell all that well, and it's fairly collectible. So there's that, another $150 game, and the winner takes all here of the most amount that I spent on a video game is this one here. This is Kishin Doji Zenki FX. Now, this is actually a pretty cool game. It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, and it's not maybe the best side-scrolling beat 'em up ever, but it has a lot of charm to it, a lot of personality. It's based on an anime. I actually did the script. Well, I didn't do the script translation. I did a lot of the editing and translation checking for. All right, that's not entirely true. I translation checked the script because I did hand it over to somebody else, and they did the editing, and somebody else did the translation. Anyway, I was heavily involved in the fan translation project for the Zenki like action beat 'em up game on the Super Famicom that was released not all that long ago. So anyway, I'm kind of familiar with the source material, and it's fun. The characters of Chiaki and Zenki, and this is a particularly cool game, I think just on the PCFX itself, it's more reminiscent of the games that you would see on the PC Engine, which I think is a real point of contention for people that are big PC Engine fans, is that the PCFX did not have a lot of games on it that are really like the games that were on the PC Engine. But interestingly, I'll maybe put a link to the video in the description. The NEC themselves said that the PCFX was more marketed towards the PC gaming audience, specifically the people that played the PC 98. So it has a real different philosophy than the PC Engine did, and I think it's understandable that PC Engine fans are a little bit put off by the system, but I think it's unfair for them to judge it as a successor to the PC Engine because it really wasn't. Anyway, all of that said, I spent about almost $300 on this game. I believe it was about $280. And unfortunately, there was a big situation with this. When I got it, the people that shipped it had not taken care to put the disc in a like sleeve or to put in a padding in to make sure that the disc did not come off the spindle. Now, had it just been scratched up, I probably could have had it resurfaced. Not really a big deal, but it was cracked right in the from the center ring in towards the outer part of the disc, so it was useless, which was horrendously disappointing because I'd never opened my wallet and put close to $300 towards a video game before, and I was pretty crushed. I was not able to get the post office to allow me to claim insurance on it, so I didn't get any money out of that, which really made me quite angry. But thankfully, if I remember correctly, I think I got a much better deal on the second copy of this game that I got. I believe it was closer to maybe like $175 or $200. I believe it was quite a bit less. And additionally, I was able to sell the box that I had to somebody else for $100, and I was really pleased with that. I even sort of told them, I was like, "Hey, I mean, like, thanks for doing this for me for the most part." And I explained what had happened, and they're like, "Well, I need a box for the game." So I mean, apparently they had a loose disc for it. So happy that things turned out semi okay in the end. But really, I ended up spending probably an extra $100 on this. So this was almost a $400 game for me in the end. But all of that aside, I'm actually really pleased to have this in my collection. I've played it like two player with a friend before. We've had fun with it, so it's not just a collection piece, but it is kind of the crown jewel of not only my PCFX collection, which is complete, but also just I would say my gaming collection in general. There are a handful of other things that I'm really proud of having, which maybe I'll talk about another time, but probably nothing, certainly nothing else that I've spent as much on as this. So that's that. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I am going to do another response video to Kid Shoryuken, just talking a little bit more about the PCFX for his benefit and yours. So I hope you're looking forward to that, and I hope you'll join me again for more video game related videos. Take care.